We're good, Victoria.
We're good? Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are Lower Saucon Township Council meeting. It is now 6:31. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Miss Ray?
Here.
Mr. Gress?
Here.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Here.
Miss Optoff Cordero?
Here.
Miss De Leon?
Here.
Also present is our solicitor, Mr. Gadzouzian, our acting township manager, Mr. Finnegan, myself, Stacy Werkheiser, our zoning officer, Tyler Mitch, our engineer, Mr. Cucker, and our junior council member, Nitya.
Thank you very much. Can we have any announcements by our acting manager?
Sure, thank you, Madam President. This meeting is being streamed on YouTube and it's recorded for future viewing.
Thank you very much. Can everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We did not have an executive session. Do we have a junior council member's report?
So in terms of school events, there's not many going on, but we've had a lot of achievements recently in Saucon Valley High School. So on the athletic front, 2 seniors from our school, Mirren Bowers and Noah Weiss, were selected to play in the Lehigh Valley Senior All-Star Game Classic on March 22nd, and it's a pretty big achievement, so we're all really proud of them. And finally, we have at the Skills USA competition where technical students at Saucon Valley High School and schools in the area all compete. We had a total of 2 gold medalists, Sam Van Norman and Tess Wagner, who are going to attend the state competition in Hershey. And then we had 4 silver medalists and 2 bronze medalists. So overall, Saucon Valley did pretty good at the Skills USA competition, and we're all very proud of them.
Congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now for public comment procedure. The full procedure is out in the hallway if you'd like to take a copy, but we will have a public comment period at the beginning of the meeting after presentations, and then that will be on agenda items only. At the end of the meeting, you'll have another public comment period for agenda and non-agenda items. So with that, can we go into the presentation of Lower Saucon Fire Rescue?
I'll just sit at the table. I guess that's easy for everybody.
Yeah, just make sure the mic is on.
Press the right button. It's gonna go green. Hey, we're on. Here we go. In case everybody doesn't know me and everybody in the crowd, my name is Scott Crecia. I'm a captain and a president with Lower Saucon Fire Rescue. The reason we're here tonight is we're here to talk to our township and our residents about a new program we are rolling out in the fire company called Community Connect. Recently, the fire company has changed its management software, and this is the software that we would use to manage departmental activities, our pre-plans, all that other stuff. One of those components of the new software that we've built out is called Community Connect. And what this does is this actually allows our residents to import or input valuable data. So our residents can go on to our Community Connect website and they can import valuable data or input what they need to. So information about your property, your building construction, where your utility shutoffs would be, all that information can be put into your profile on there. Information about the members in your family. If you have any members that maybe have a disability, they're unable to ambulate, or they have some other physical limitation, this information can be added into there. If you have any internal pre-plans in your house, like maybe you have a meeting place where your family knows in case of an incident where to meet, that information can be put in there. And then more importantly is the people that are in your family, the names and their ages and their addresses and everything in there. That's all part of it. Do you want me to move the mic closer?
No.
Okay. So what this does is this helps us in the event of emergency because seconds are precious, and this gives our responders access to that information. So we can pull your record up as we're responding to the scene, and it actually does it automatically. And we can see, like, you know, for instance, like my mom who lives on Reading Drive, we could see that she lives there by herself, there's nobody else there, and that I'm the contact person for her, and if she had a physical disability, we would be able to see all that. So that helps us when we get to the fire scene and we come, you know, make up our pre-plan or even, you know, put our operations into effect. So for residents, it's wonderful. For businesses, it's even better because it's going to allow us to put vital information in there about your business. So if you have a business in Lower Saucon, you can put down, you know, the address, your contact person. Maybe you rent your physical location from another, like another organization. So you can put your landlord's information in there, any information about your property, anything like that. Like I said, it gives us vital information when responding to an incident. It's 100% free service, and it's 100% secure. There's only certain people in the department that can actually see that information in the event of an emergency response. And it's provided as a service with our package, with our management software, which is called First Do. So it's live on our website right now, on our Facebook page. You can go on our Facebook page, you can sign up on the portal, you can put all your information in if you're a resident or a business owner, and it's just gonna help us, you know, respond more effectively to incidents within the community. So I just wanted to brief everybody on that. I wanted to let council know what's going on that. We have some flyers up here on the table, and like I said, it's also on our Facebook page too. That was basically it, unless council has any questions. I know I talked fast, so.
The stuff that was on the back of the, when you made a donation, it had something you had to fill in for that?
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing some press and promotion for this. First phase is rolling it out on our Facebook page, letting everybody in council know and the township residents know. We're gonna be sending out our yearly fund drive mailer like we always do. There'll be a flyer in there for that as part of that too. And we're trying to get as many people as involved to be part of the program because it's really gonna help you guys out in the long run. And that's the important thing. More information that we can get when responding there helps us out a lot. So that's kind of where we are. Any questions? This is really fast.
Does
No,
any
great
other members
job.
of council have a question?
Great job.
Is there anything in there about hazardous materials?
Yeah, there is a section in there about like you can put if you have any kind of hazardous chemicals or anything like that in your house, and where they would be stored. You know, like for instance, you have kerosene in your garage, or you have a propane tank buried in the backyard. Like all that stuff is in there once you create the profile. It's a really simple process. It takes you about 5 minutes to do the whole profile. If you're a business owner, it's a little more in depth because it will ask you some additional questions about like, you know, do I have hazardous materials on site? Do I have heavy machinery? That kind of stuff. So it will ask you for some of that in the profile. But as you go through the whole profile, it's a really simple process. It took me all of 5 minutes to do it for my mom. So it was really easy.
Okay.
And like I said, it's 100% secured. It's 100% voluntary. You know, you don't need to do it, and it's free. So it's just an extra thing that we feel that we can offer to the community, you know, and help, you know, us when we respond to calls. And that's the important thing.
This replaces that placard in your window that says, "Save my cats and dogs."
So theoretically, yes, it does. And the old, we still give those stickers out, by the way, but those old Tot Finder stickers too.
Yeah.
So it replaces some of that. Yeah, it's just a digital way of doing it now. You know, digital is the way of the future, connectivity, everything else.
Yeah.
Having all that information connected. Like I said, this is all part of our new fire software management that we made a big investment at the beginning of the year to move to this new system. This is part of it. So this is just a small component where there's a whole bunch of other stuff on the fire side that's happening with us, which is all very exciting.
Thank you very,
Yeah,
very much.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to express, I think on behalf of all of council, how grateful we are that you're forward thinking and that you've put this in place. I'm hopeful that council, or that township staff can also promote this on our website. I know we have a link to the Lower Saucon Fire Rescue's website, but maybe a direct link for the form to fill out, maybe a constant contact blast and telling all the residents that they should provide the information, that it really helps in the event that there's an emergency. So anything that we can do to help promote it would be great.
Can we put this on social?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have it on your Facebook page?
It is on our Facebook page. Yeah, you could share it right off our page, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we launched it on our Facebook page at 6:30, so it's out there right now. So, like I said, the valuable thing I think for us, and at least for me, is contact information, and if there's anybody who has any medical issues that might hamper us, that's important too. So that's one of the big things for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Next, we have an update on Heritage Day. I believe that there's some organizations from the various historical groups in Hellertown, Lower Saucon. You can come on forward. You're welcome to stand at the podium, or you can take a seat just where you saw Scott sitting, whatever is more comfortable.
No, this works.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Mark Connor. I'm the council
Speak into the microphone, please. Thank you.
My name is Mark Connor. I'm the council-appointed historian, and I wanted to bring council up to date and the community of a very exciting event that's coming up. It's Heritage Day, which will be on May 16th this year, and it's going to be held at two venues. One, the pictured up there, is the Grist Mill, which is in Hellertown, and the other venue is the Michael Heller Homestead, which is on Friedensville Road, just outside the borough of Hellertown. So, next slide, please. The mission of this event is it's a celebration of the history and culture of Hellertown and Lower Saucon Township while we honor the 250th anniversary of the United States. And obviously, this is a very important year, 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. We'll have a lot of events that go back to that period, to the Revolutionary War. We've also identified about 70 patriots from this greater Saucon Valley area who served in the Revolutionary War, and we are having some events that specifically honor those individuals. Some of the activities that we're including in this, and it's going to be a very exciting family fun event, is we'll have demonstrations and presentations by colonial living historians, so a lot of people dressed in colonial garb, some as militiamen, some as just citizens, as they would have been in the Revolutionary War period, walking around and interfacing with the people who attend. Both the Grist Mill and the Heller Homestead will be open for museum tours. We'll have 18th and 19th century crafts and food to serve. Music and bands, the Allentown Band will actually be at the Grist Mill later in the afternoon. We'll have horse-drawn wagon rides. We'll have a petting zoo. And at the Heller Homestead, we're going to have a historic wagon that was very graciously donated by Kathy Pitchell McGovern, where we're going to collect food to give to local food banks. Now, this is particularly interesting because Michael Heller, who was the original owner of the Heller Homestead, went down to Valley Forge. He was the first person from our area to go to Valley Forge when the soldiers were wintering there in 1777, 1778, delivered provisions. So it was very appropriate that we had this food collection in honor of that historic event. We'll have old-fashioned children's activities at both venues, and we'll have free shuttle to go back and forth, so that it should be easy to get from one to the other. So next page, please. The organization, it's really three groups coming together to make this happen. Hellertown Historical Society, the Lower Saucon Township Historical Society, and also the Saucon Valley Conservancy. Now, Lower Saucon actually, we're not going to be going out to the Les Franklin Schoolhouse, but they will have a booth there at the grist mill. I should also mention, I think that Jennifer Hilton is here. We also will have a booth at the Heller Homestead for the Saucon Valley watershed. And I might introduce Dennis Scholl in the back represents Hellertown Historical Society, and Rick DeSold represents Saucon Valley Conservancy. So we'll be able to answer any questions you might have collectively at the end. One more page. Oh, I should say before we leave this, we went on this, okay. Yeah, that is kind of the logo that we've come up for the event, so you'll start to see that around the township, around the town. Heritage Day, you'll see the logos of the three primary organizations that are sponsoring it in this branding. So next slide. So the current status, what we need, the challenges that we have. Well, Heritage Day, it's a work in progress, but we have done a lot to organize it, but there's still plenty to do. And we meet regularly to both as a collective organization to pull this together. Fundraising is continuing. Marketing is really just beginning. This event, we're going to be in the newsletter. These are things we're doing just to start to get it out to the community, but obviously the marketing efforts will accelerate as we go forward now, getting closer to May. What we've had is great support from council. Laura, Priscilla, and Chad have all been very active with us as we do our organization. That's very much appreciated. And we're trying to make sure that this is really a single event, not two different events at two different locations. We're really trying to pull it together as a single event, have common branding, have a common message. Success to us really means that we get people to both events and that we get more people, more eyeballs there this year than we had last year when we held it. So that's what success looks like. So we could use your help getting the word out. We'll have posters. There's an example of one that's an early draft. So it's much, looks like Priscilla might have a newer one.
Yeah.
But it's still being worked, and thank you, Priscilla. So we'll be getting those out and about, and hopefully people will not be able to go out of their houses without seeing what that poster is somewhere in the area. And just to close, the two challenges we have, and this was the same last year. Lehigh University holds their commencement the same day as Heritage Day. So that obviously creates traffic and some difficulties, but that's the challenge that we had last year. We've obviously learned from that, and we'll continue to try to overcome it to the extent that we can. And the other challenge is the grist mill is a much bigger venue than Heller Homestead. And so one of the things we've been working very hard is how can we get people to go to both venues, because that's what success looks like for us, and we want to be sure that we're trying to do things. For example, we'll have a shuttle that runs back and forth between the homestead and the grist mill directly, rather than taking a circuitous route to parking areas and so forth. So we're working on things like that to really be sure that we get people to both. And I said, it's going to be a very exciting event. It's going to be, we're hoping to have more than 1,000 participants. That would be very nice. I think it's important for the area. This is a great year to do a heritage event, and we hope everybody shows up and has a good time. So with that, I'll just say if council has any questions.
I'll open it up to council. Does anybody have any specific
Just want to
questions?
say you guys are doing a great job volunteering, setting this up with, we need more help, participants. So the next meeting that Lower Saucon Historical Society has is what, March 23rd? Is that the new day?
Well, they moved it. We moved it.
Yes, right.
The 23rd.
So it's at 7 o'clock in the old Sidersville Hall. So if anybody's interested, please come. We have lots of things to do.
Thank you, Priscilla. I just want to say again, if there's, we can promote once the flyer is finalized. I think that's something else we can, blast out, which we normally do on our social media. constant contacts. I think, you know, having it displayed in town hall is a nice option, and I just want to thank all of the volunteers, both the steering committee, I'm just gonna call you the steering committee, on our council, but also you, Mark, and the representatives from the Conservancy and Hellertown. I think this is just a wonderful, another way that our community can come together and work together to show the bright, shining light that we have working. So thank you very much for the presentation.
And again, thank you for all the support we've had from council to date. We appreciate it very much. Okay?
So can I give this back to you guys then, this poster?
Thank you very much.
I'll give a shout out too to Mark. He's a great organizer. He really
Yeah, you've been doing a great
collects a
job.
lot of volunteers, and it's very helpful.
Now I'm going to turn to public comment, agenda items only. If you'd like to come and speak on something on the agenda, now is your time. Please come to the podium. Going once.
Jason Bononis, Lower Saucon Township resident and taxpayer. First, with regard to the data secure issue raised by the fire department, who's it been verified by? How do we know it's 100% secure? Who has access to it? What's their background? Who has the data? Where is it secured? What protections are in place? What if there's a data breach? What sort of risk management protocols are in place? If you are not paying for a product, you are the product. You clapping seals sit up here and commend these things without asking tough questions like that. Think about what a bad guy could do with data, knowing where your utilities are and that there's a single person living in a home. Very easy for them to gain access and know exactly what it is that they're trying to do and not meet any resistance to that. My next point is a lack of meetings. You're hiding your corruption. You're suppressing public comment by limiting to 3 minutes comments that people would have. There's still no agenda item for the secret meeting that you had at the Copperhead Grill by all 5 of you. There's no agenda item for the fraudulent invention of the police trying to create a gaslighting of the public for the investigation of domestic charges or domestic investigation against one of your council members or prior to beginning on council. You're trying to create a false narrative so you have a basis to defund the police. You're trying to intimidate the police with your nonsense. By the way, Hellertown Borough Council acknowledged, Tom Rieger acknowledged that within 10 years they're not going to be able to afford their mandatory services, so I expect that they're going to be looking to Lower Saucon Township for police services. I, for one, would call for no merger of police services. I think they do a great job policing our community, and I'm happy with that. Dan Monick, the investigator that was hired to shake down the police, his charges appear on the bills. We have not seen his report. It has not been disclosed to the public, nor any of the data that he's compiled. Where is that, and when are you going to share it with the public, or are you just going to try to sweep that under the rug like everything else you do? If you are going to fight with your significant other, try not to do so when there's a fire at a major facility in the township, such as the Meadows, because there may be a domestic violence call that identifies you and your address to the public, which would lead to these things that you've hired Dan Monick to investigate. The plastic bag ban survey. You self-appointed clowns are in this.
Please, nobody
Excuse me.
speak from the audience. Just continue, please.
Who approved this? Since when does a committee get to do a survey to the community without council's blessing? Let's ban all plastics. How about those unnaturally slimming outfits that you folks are wearing? How about we get rid of the carpets that are in here? Why don't you walk yourselves to these meetings instead of using an oil-burning vehicle to get here? If you want to ban something, why don't you look at everything in a broader picture, not just be selective towards plastic bags? My tax bill arrived, it went up 10%. You 3 clowns said taxes were not going up. You lied to the public repeatedly, and there's written proof, and I've heard from many people that their bills have gone up as well. So I hope that the chickens come home to roost on that. Priscilla's post, Priscilla De Leon, you post on social media commending the Saucon Valley girls basketball team, but you're so stupid that you don't know to take out the AI-generated prompt at the beginning that says, here's a polished, upbeat Facebook response that matches your tone and keeps it tight. Learn how to write. If you're going to sit up there and pretend, try to do it with credibility. On top of that, you post about baseball being back. You're the same clown that sits up there. You're the same.
Time is up. Can you please finish?
You're the same clown that sits up there and you condemned the baseball players and you condemned the Eastern Road ball field, and yet you're going to post that baseball is back. You're such hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites. Why don't you all resign and give your money back? Don't touch me, ma'am. Don't touch me. You're
Can
weird.
we not have any discussions at the podium? If you're done speaking, I think you are. Can you please sit down? We'll have the next commenter.
But I have some space to move away from the podium without being crowded out by this person.
Please sit down.
Stay away from me. Listen to that.
Thank you.
Shut up.
He called me ugly last time.
Diane Hollowell. I was just curious, when it's public comment about agenda items, can you stop people from talking about non-agenda items? That's my only question.
Next commenter, please.
Dave Boulan. Speaking of which, I noticed on the agenda item, the attorney's going to talk after our public comment. So we can't even talk about what he's going to talk about. Isn't that a good way to just shut the public up? And if you don't know what that means, Priscilla, maybe you ought to read the agenda. So that's number one. Number two, this resolution here to appoint new people to the EAC, we're still working on the last one you appointed who ran around and cut down all these trees. Who on God's good earth appoints these people when they do the worst things in the world for the EAC? And I see we now have a woman beater that's going to be on the council, speaking of that, on the EAC. All right, what else do we have? Draft ordinance. Hey, this is a beauty. I wonder who wrote it. How about we require who writes these ordinances so we know where it comes from? I mean, sometimes I'm sitting there thinking this comes from somebody in high school who wants to be an attorney. Whistleblowers, yes, we're not going to protect them. This is going to be just like that fella in Minnesota here, who for 4 years was told, you got problems, you've got graft and corruption. Yeah, Tim Walz, we all know who he was. It was only $9 billion. Oh, well, guess that's going to be sort of like Hellertown with Rigger running the show. Broke in 10 years. Now we know why you want to join with them. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Draft ordinance. Yeah, I just got to I really have to wonder about these things. Has anybody had a public meeting on what this new zone is going to be to really get public input so we can ask questions, which we can't? We can ask all the questions in the world now, but we won't get 3 seconds or a straight answer from any of you for doing it. But you will bloviate beyond belief as soon as we sit down. You'll correct us again and again and again. Boy, that's really sad. This is what you do to the public, but this is a typical democratic communist kind of thing that goes on. And you need to stop it. You really do. And people that pop up and say, oh, so-and-so said this or that, they have no proof of any of that. So let's get to the real meat of this. And you guys, when you introduce some of these things, please let us know who drafted them. If it's not our attorney over here, Mr. Gadouzian, or whoever, I'd like to know about it. If you lifted him directly from somewhere else, maybe you could tell us so we could look it up instead of trying to keep it away from us. This is supposed to be a public meeting where people can understand what's going on. We have no visibility into what goes on here because you just want to shut us down, and that's terrible. You don't like dissent. Sounds real familiar, doesn't it, public? All right, so there we go. Got a few more minutes here. It's hard to believe. There's so many items on this agenda. I think there's like 11 or 14, and you're going to give us 3 minutes to talk. Well, I'll tell you, that's far from the promise that Priscilla, Victoria, Laura Ray promised 3 minutes on each and every topic. Another lie, a bold-faced lie. And somebody just spoke about that, all right? You need to stop lying and start telling the truth. If you're going to do it,
Can you
do
finish
it.
up, please?
No, I won't, because I'm done with you.
Thank you.
No, you're not welcome.
Next comment. Anybody else?
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. Just on the comment of the plastics, and I'm bringing it up because it was mentioned last meeting, and the survey went out this week. I received it. I did a lot of research on microplastics, and I don't know if you all know, since you're probably all great researchers and you know where all the pollution comes from, that textile manufacturing causes it. Acrylics that are used in manufacturing of clothing and other items and washing them in the textile manufacturing process causes microplastics to go into the wastewater, FYI. Also, Hellertown comment at their last borough council meeting was that they will not have money in 10 years. So I highly alert the public that any money that comes from Lower Saucon into Hellertown, which seems to be the trend with this council, and the 3 people on the council, since they started on the council, I would say the public needs to start coming to meetings and speaking out against our money going to Hellertown. Let them clean up their own financial mess. I also see that you have whistleblower protection policy on the agenda, which is funny, because last meeting you had a privacy agreement that you were making all employees sign, and you were concerned about any personal information getting out about council members and or anything that had to do with the police, and now there is a whistleblower protection policy on the agenda. So that's a given. Whistleblower policy, I think I brought it up last time here at the podium to make sure that they had those rights that were reiterated to them. And I know that there are 2 new lawsuits against the township, one specifically against the 3 councilwomen that is our personal lawsuits. And just wondering what you people are trying to hide. I think the public needs to be aware of these things, and things need to be out in the open a little bit more here. Also, in reference to your people speaking here at the podium, your supporters, if it were any of us that were that close to somebody speaking at the podium, all 3 of you ladies would have mentioned, would have told us to back off, and we would never have lurked like that behind somebody. So I would appreciate it if, even if they are your supporters, to say something to people about backing away from the podium when someone else is speaking. It's not their place to move people out of the podium before 3 minutes. That's not their role. They don't have authority to do that. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that. Thank you very much. Because I noticed the police aren't here tonight.
Thank you for your comment.
I stand corrected.
Next commenter, please.
Good morning, Mark Ozemek. I also pay my taxes, and I did already too, so the township gets more interest out of it. Well, the first thing I gotta say is, thank God we got President Trump for a president. And Walls and the other girl didn't get in. They would have sold us down the river to no end. Corruption. So corruption comes in all forms all over the place. Let's hope that with the funding that was given to the fire department, because I'm happy to hear that they created this new program, whatever they want to do it. I'm sure it'll be good for some people. And if anybody knows of anybody that's trying to use it to break the law, then, you know, they should be officially smacked in the head. So, with that, congratulations to the police department. I might go in and look at it myself. Or the fire department, I mean. Police department already knows what's in my garage. So, the other thing, and I believe it was on last week's agenda, since the rules do not have any specific relationship to which agenda you comment on. I'm interested in what's going on with the police department being sued by whoever Bononis, or investigated by whoever Bononis claimed to be investigated. And I want to know if it's going to investigate the entirety of the police department. Is it going to investigate Bononis and Chief Barnes' claims that got me 3 days in jail and the lies? Is it going to investigate the Donna Lauder incident that happened here in the council room? And more so, is it going to involve an investigation into the murder of the realtor? Because I now have a friend who kind of lost his head a little bit and sitting probably 5 to 10 years up in state prison over that. So the township got a lot of issues. If I was you guys, I'd be open, I'd be honest, even if you don't want to. Because one thing I had to try and explain to somebody was, when you're hired as a police officer or a prison guard, and attorneys there, Mr. Gazouzian, you're responsible for the person that you take into custody, even if you don't like that person, if you don't like their religion, their skin color, or anything else, because the old saying was to protect and to serve, and that means everybody, not the picked few.
Can you wrap it up, please?
I'm done. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Oh, here. I'll be the only one that signs again. What number am I? 4, 5? How many people came up here? I'll pick number 5.
Are there any other people for public comment, agenda items? Going once, going twice. Now's your time to come if you want to speak on agenda items. You can speak at the end. Okay, we're gonna move on. We have no hearings, developer items. We have Hunsaker holding tank waiver request. You want to give a synopsis, Brian?
So the waiver request before you tonight at 2021 Lightsville Road, it is a sewage malfunction with no way to correct it due to the lot size. So their consultant has designed 2 holding tanks in series, and council is permitted to permit this arrangement. You have done this before. So I've listed the conditions that are in your ordinance. The first one is that the property owner maintain an agreement with an approved hauler so we know that the waste is going to be hauled. Second is to post escrow to guarantee that hauling in the amount of $1,250. 3, then that the property owner enter into an agreement to provide indemnification for the township, inspection rights of the township, and requirement to retain all pumping records, which Attorney Gazouzian has drafted. Along with this motion would be to grant a waiver for the 50-foot separation requirement between the holding tanks and the well on site, because they have no other option, and they do meet that separation to adjacent wells. So it's just their own.
Okay, thank you. So it is quite a lengthy motion. So does all council understand what he has indicated? Because I'd like to entertain a motion as Mr. Cucker stated. So can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion,
okay,
as Mr. Cucker stated.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Any problems with that? Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, township business items. The first one we have is O'Brien variance 01-26/2087 Fieldstone Drive. The applicant is seeking a rear yard setback relief of 25 feet for the construction of an in-ground pool. It looks like we have perhaps the applicant or their.
Hi, everybody.
Go ahead.
Stephen O'Brien. I've never been to one of these meetings, so I figure I'd just introduce myself. Been a resident since 2019. My wife, Lindsay, and I bought a home just on the other side of 378 here in the Woodfields neighborhood. We love it here. Since then, we've welcomed 2 little boys, Rory and Brooks. I'm here on behalf of my family today to kind of explain why we're requesting this variance. It's really due to the uniqueness of our lot. So the way the spirit of the ordinance is to kind of make sure that you have a 40-foot setback in the rear yard, 15 feet on the side. But if you look at how my lot is situated, I really have a 3-sided lot. My backyard is actually kind of my side yard, but it's labeled as a backyard, which would put us in a situation under this variance where we couldn't build a pool. There's more pools in our neighborhood than there are people without pools. The interesting thing is the house directly behind mine has a pool, but because they're a traditional 4-sided lot and I'm at their side, they're allowed to have one and didn't need to seek a variance. My pool would be no closer to their property line than their pool is to mine. It's just that because of the way that my lot is, that's the exact picture that I was trying to point out. Because of the way that my lot is situated, my backyard, which is really kind of a side yard, has this 40-foot setback, whereas their side yard, which is my backyard, only has a 15-foot. So I'm going to the zoning board meeting next week, Monday. But before I do that, I'm here to ask for the council's approval on this variance so that I can take that to that meeting and speak with the zoning board and say that I also have the council's approval. And really what I'm asking you to do is just consider the uniqueness of my lot, being that it's three-sided, and kind of look at my backyard as if it is a side yard, which would allow me to have that 15-yard setback, or 15-foot setback as opposed to the 40, and that's what the variance is on. So you can see that there. I also have representation from my pool company where we could discuss plans if you have questions. But ultimately, I'm just here to ask for your support so that when I go to the zoning meeting, I can share that with them. So.
Thank you. So just I'm not sure if you're aware of the process, but whenever there's a variance, it comes before council, and we can participate in the process or we cannot participate in the process. The majority of the time, council takes what's called no position, meaning that we don't support or we don't object. And when you go to the zoning hearing board, you present your case there. I would suggest that you get your neighbors, talk to them, make sure that they don't have a problem with it. If they come and support you, it's great that they can come and also express their support of your situation. But we don't get to say one way or the other from council's perspective whether you get it or not. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Yeah, no, totally fair. I think
that way you understand.
Explain that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I do. I think it's in my file for when we go. Of the people I sent letters to, 2 people have already responded that they're in complete support. So I'll print it out. I'll have it in the file. I'll bring it. Neighbors are aware. They're fully supportive. As I said, like a majority of people have pools. So I don't. And they also know about tonight, so they didn't come to speak in opposition. They're not going to come to speak in opposition next week either because they sent me letters. So I feel good and confident about that.
Thank you. No, I'm very familiar with the neighborhood, so I'm well aware of where all the pools are. So
yeah, I just want one too.
So I'm going to entertain a motion that we take no position on the applicant's variance request.
I'll second.
I'm going to entertain a motion. Do you want to make the motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it, and it looks like a beautiful pool. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. Hopefully we can get there. But yeah.
When's the barbecue?
You're all invited if it gets done.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Good luck. Next item is Midland variance 02-26/2022 Springtown Hill Road. The applicant is seeking relief from environmental protection standards for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling. We have various documents here. I see there's somebody at the podium. Would you like to explain what's going on?
I'll introduce myself first. I'm Scott Pastersky with Keystone Consulting Engineers. We were hired by the applicant, who's also in the audience, and the property owner, Lauren Midlam. And we prepared the lot grading plan that's on the screen in front of you and on the overhead monitor. If it would be beneficial, I had a 5-bullet point summary of the project to provide some background on the project. It's roughly an 8.2 acre property. It's a beautiful property, lots of natural resources. The applicant proposes a single family dwelling with a driveway connecting as shown on the lower right portion of the screen at the intersection of Springtown Hill Road and Cohas Drive.
God bless you.
With that, we have all the typical features. Meeting township stormwater requirements. We're just at the tail end of our review process with our lot grading plan application. A septic, on-lot septic and water, and the septic approval is forthcoming. That's, again, all the testing's been done, everything's underway. To get to the point of why we're here, as I mentioned before, the site is very well endowed with natural resources, and they're mapped. You can see them with the trees being shaded slightly different color than the plan. So we have 2 particular resources that we did exceed, and it was unavoidable due to the uniqueness of the lot. The disturbance levels One was the floodplain soils, and the second was environmentally sensitive woodlands. These would be discussed next week at the zoning hearing board. If you look at this, and it's, perhaps I'll have better documentation for the zoning meeting, but if you look at this lot, I mean, the site was designed to meet the client's expectations and desires, but also simultaneously, the site is located in such a manner that it misses most of those resources. So we're disturbing effectively the minimum number of resources that we can. If you look at all the resources in there, there's a stream running through there, there's woodlands, there's environmentally sensitive woodlands, there's steep slopes. It's very difficult to develop the property. I don't think it's possible, frankly, to develop the property without disturbing these resources. And like I said, that's why we're here tonight. I understand. Happy to answer any questions on the project. If there's any questions the applicant could answer, she's in the audience as well.
I appreciate you coming. I'm sure you're well familiar and your client's familiar about what I just indicated to the prior applicant, that we generally stay out of variances and you go to the zoning hearing board. But if you have the opportunity to speak to your neighbors and get their approval, you know, that works out great to go to the zoning hearing board and present that information before them. I would entertain a motion to take no position. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
I'll take a roll call.
Ms. Uptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you for a couple minutes of your time? I see on the application that you're going to be removing a 4,500 square foot barn.
Yes.
I just want to give you some history of the barn. I don't know if you know of any history.
It's not the historical barn on the property. It's the one that was built in the 1980s.
Okay. I don't think I ever remembered seeing that back in there, but this is the one that was on the Saucon Valley Conservancy tour. Do you have a copy of this?
I don't have a copy of that, but we are planning to restore that.
Good. Thank you. And I just want to say that when this was on the barn tour in 2011, a girl by the name of Catherine Mason, she came and toured the barn tour with us, and she chose that barn. And this was all over the country. And I would say that in my experience with barns in the Saucon Valley area, if I have to say, your barn would be one of the top 10 barns that is most beautiful. So there's pictures in here, and I don't, you know, have that book. Okay. So, okay. So you don't need any of this stuff. The flyer? Okay, yes.
Priscilla, what I would just suggest is maybe we just touch base with her after the meeting.
Right, but I can just give her this. She can call me. That's all I want to
Yeah.
do.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. No, wait, you can't come up here. I have to come to you. It's the security thing. Where'd she go? Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Priscilla, I'm just gonna. She's coming back.
Back.
Okay, we are gonna move on to 6C, Memorandum of Understanding for Lower Saucon Police Officers, post-high school tuition reimbursement. This is an authorization for council to execute the MOU for police officers, post-high school tuition reimbursement, something that we do. So I will entertain a motion to execute the MOU.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Item 6D, whistleblower protection policy 03-2026. Steve, you want to give an overview of that? Or Jay?
At some point, it was, in review of staff, it was determined that we do not have an official whistleblower protection policy. So it was determined that it was a good idea to have one. This outlines the outstanding rights and obligations under the law, as well as a procedure in which employees can then go ahead and put the process together. It sort of crystallizes what has been out there, but makes it much more formal, and it's a much better process. So I would recommend, if inclined, for someone to make a motion to adopt the policy.
Okay. I'm going to entertain a motion to adopt the policy. If somebody would make that motion.
I'll adopt that policy.
You making the motion?
I am.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any comments, questions from council on this? Okay. I will entertain a roll call.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have 6E, which is beginning the police contract negotiations. Jay, you want to talk about this?
Certainly. As council is probably aware, the labor agreement between the township and the Police Officers Association expires at the end of this year. I have received communication from the representatives of the association that they wish to commence negotiations on a new contract. And in order to proceed, I would like permission to do that, and also use whatever applicable resources I would need at my disposal, including the labor solicitor.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate, I think last year we did the non-uniform agreement, and that went really well, at least what was reported, and I appreciate all the work that you put into that, Jay, and I know that you will do a fantastic job working with our labor solicitor and the association for us to work on a new agreement. So I will entertain a motion to begin negotiations for the police contract commencing January 1st, 2027, and to use applicable resources, including the labor solicitor. Is there a motion for that?
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments, concerns, questions? Okay.
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next, 6F, authorization for the 2025 delinquent tax notice. Staff is requesting the Township Finance Department to forward the 2025 delinquent taxes, list to Northampton County for collection. This is a customary thing that we do annually, and it's similar to previous years as far as who's delinquent and the amounts. So I will entertain a motion to approve turning over the delinquent 2025 real estate taxes to Northampton County Tax Claim Bureau. Is there a motion for that?
So moved as stated by the president.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. 6G, approval of the 2026 tax warrant letter. Township staff is requesting approval of the attached tax warrant letter approving the Finance Department or authorized designee to collect the real estate taxes for Lower Saucon Township for the year 2026. I think that speaks for itself. Can I have a motion to approve the 2026 tax warrant letter?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Questions? No? Yes? Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next item is H, Lower Saucon Authority Board Member Resignation. I want to say thank you to Shakar Thakar from Lower Saucon Authority for his time. I know that he's done a wonderful job there, but he has asked to resign, so we are just accepting his resignation. I will entertain a motion for that. Accepting the resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon? Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, and that, I've just direct staff that we could send a thank you to him for his time on Lower Saucon Authority and work with Bill Ross. Next we have Resolution 35-2026, appointment of EAC Advisory Council voting member and associate members. We will be entertaining, appointing the following individuals to the EAC: Winford Clark as a voting member, and Chad Heimbecker, who had been a voting member, to an associate member, along with Allison Ross as associate members, I think in accordance with the bylaws, but I will turn this over to Laura or Chad to give any further information. Kind of speaks for itself,
Sure.
but.
Well, we did accept or approve our new bylaws, and part of that was we changed them so that we only have one voting council member as a voting EAC member rather than two. So since Chad got elected and we had a battle, duke it out a little of who
We arm wrestled over it.
who would move into the non-voting position. So actually Chad
I defer to Laura and her experience.
graciously
Yeah. So.
decided that he would move into the associate position and I'll stay in the voting position. And then we moved up one of our members who has been with us for a few years, Winfield, and he's going to swap into the voting position. So
yeah.
Plus we have a new member that we're bringing in as well, Allison.
Yeah, Allison I'm excited about. She's a fellow Master Watershed Steward, myself. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay on the EAC. It's near and dear to my heart. So.
Well, thank you to the EAC for all the hard work and putting the new bylaws together and for making it so that our township residents can be assured that we don't have too much council oversight in voting, decision making.
So I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 35-2026.
I'll second.
To make the changes.
All right, can I have a roll call?
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next J is a pavilion rental request for amplified sound. I believe that there's a request to have a DJ for a graduation party at Town Hall Park. So I will entertain a motion to approve the request for amplification.
I'll make a motion, but can I make a request of the DJ?
I don't know. You have to contact them on that.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second. No, go ahead, Priscilla. Okay, I'll second.
Okay. Can I have a roll call?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes, and congratulations on your graduation.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next is item K, the hybrid manufacturing district draft ordinance. some of you may know that we entertained looking at the Easton Road area and looked at a draft last year, and so now we're bringing it back before council again to take a look at this so that we can hopefully have Lehigh Valley Planning Commission look at it again with their study that they're doing for the township that they've just started to work on. I just did a whole tour with Lehigh Valley Planning Commission with Priscilla on the whole township, and there's some very exciting things coming forward with that, and it would be very, very helpful if they can take a look at this to help us design an appropriate buffer area for the Easton Road area. So that's what we have before us. So I will enter. Steve, do you have anything more you want to say about it?
What has been part of the packet is a draft. Since it's been circulated, there have been some additional comments by various members of council and members of staff. So what I would recommend, if council is inclined, is to entertain a motion to authorize the staff to forward the ordinance to the LVPC after it has been reviewed one more time internally, and any additional revisions can be made before it's sent out to the LVPC. That way, it doesn't have to come back before council, and we can continue to move it forward.
And then just so everybody would be understanding the process, once LVPC looks at it, they come back and give us comments, and then we take a look again. The public is going to be able to take a look at it again, and if we move that forward, then there would be additional periods of time where the public would have their opportunities to participate. But with what we're doing with LVPC, they're going to be planning meetings involving the community at large for that process. So there will be a lot of opportunity for everybody to get their eyes on it and to provide feedback to us.
In addition, it would also go in front of the Lower Saucon Planning Commission also.
Yes.
We need a motion to do that?
So the motion would be to authorize township staff to forward the draft ordinance to the LVPC after it has been revised again, one more time, in other words. But you're authorizing it to go, so it doesn't, council doesn't have to authorize it a second time.
So my understanding is it would be edited by staff, sent to the planning, if we go through with this motion, sent to the planning commission, and then it would be put before the public again after it's sent to the planning commission.
Correct. Lehigh Valley Planning Commission does their own methodology of how they review it, and the public is involved. And then they have comments, and then they send the comments back to the township. And then once we receive them back, then we get to determine what the next steps may or may not be.
So I will entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Is there
As
a
stated
second?
by the solicitor.
Can I make a second with comment?
Make a second, and then we will do comments.
I'll make a second.
Okay, go ahead with your comment.
For the record, on this, of what allowable uses are, I think it would be a good idea to allow for a gas station. We don't have one over on the east side of the township, and that would be an opportune place to put one, rather than me having to drive into Hellertown to use the Exxon or the Sunoco. And the other thing I don't see on here would be a restaurant. We have all those people that work at the warehouses. Where do they go to lunch? And I think that could be something we should look at as well.
Any other comments?
Good ideas.
I guess my big issue is, I mean, I know the public will get a chance to look at it before we approve anything, but I'm not a super huge fan of it being edited in-house and then sent to the planning commission with that edit, without the public being necessarily aware of what it is. I mean, my understanding is it's gonna be mostly typos and things of that nature, but I still feel it should go before the public again before it goes to the planning commission.
So you
Just so
think
the
it should
public's
come back
aware.
to council before it goes back to LVPC?
I understand it'll lengthen the process a little bit, but I think that's a better way to go about it. I think that's more transparent to the public. Just my opinion.
Hunter, just so you're aware, once the planning commission makes recommendations, there might be their suggestions that we need to incorporate in on it. And then it goes to our planning commission.
Our own planning.
And then it comes to council. So the public can offer comments to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission because their meetings are open to the public and they're also broadcast, they're available on Zoom. Then they would be able to offer comments on the document in front of our Planning Commission. And then if there's any changes that the Planning Commission makes, it then would have to go, if they're de minimis, then they wouldn't have to go back to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. Then they could advance to council for council's consideration and have a public hearing.
So regardless, the final version is gonna have to go before us and before the public then?
Correct.
Yes.
On more than one occasion.
That makes me feel a little more comfortable about that then, all right.
Yeah.
And then since it's an ordinance, it gets advertised and for the 30 days, right?
There'll be an
Before we
advertisement,
vote
there'll
on
be
it?
a public hearing, there'll be all sorts of things if we go down that road.
It'll be a while.
Okay, I think we got everybody's questions answered with that. I will entertain a roll call.
Ms. Uptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, moving to miscellaneous business items, approval of January 21st, 2026 council minutes. Do we have any edits or comments on those? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
I'll make the motion to approve council minutes for January 21st, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Uptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have the approval of January 2026 financial reports. I'll entertain a motion for that, to approve those.
I'll make the motion to approve the financial report for January 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
De Leon?
Yes?
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have public comment, agenda and non-agenda items, so this is your opportunity to speak once more. If you could please come to the podium.
I'm here, Dave Boulan. My comment, it still holds. We can't comment on anything the solicitor says because it's going to be after this public comment period here. So there's no way for her to address us as the public, ask any questions, make any statements, because there's absolutely no idea what he's going to say. And that is wrong, even for you people. Now, I know he's going to get up there and read it off. I can read it, but I certainly have questions on what that ruling was. And I certainly hope somebody else stands up here and says that. I see some really quizzical looks for those that even understand what this is on this panel in front of me. And that really makes me want to speak out. All right. The other thing was I'm really impressed with all of the grandeur on this planning for this new district that we're going to have. And I heard about how the public's going to be informed and this, that, and the other. I still don't have the answer. I want to know. I'd like to see in public a public debate about it, not a bunch of people that sit on the council and they're all in the same body, they have all the same thoughts, and they just pass everything down a line. Somebody raises their hand and they all vote. Nobody from the public can sit there and listen and then say, gee, I disagree about whatever Mr. Heimbecker said. I think he had maybe a good idea, a restaurant. And there's probably a heck of a lot more out there. But you know, I'm not gonna be picking up the phone and calling him. And I'm not gonna be calling Mr. Gadouzian saying we need this. I'd like to have it in the public interest so other people can say, hey, those are good ideas. And we need to have some more. Or maybe we need less. We're gonna have a cemetery next to an art studio? Please, come on. We've been through all this. And you know what? It doesn't seem to make a tinker's darn. And when I ask who made this ordinance, crickets. Nobody wants to say, I did it, or here's where I got it from, or there are a whole bunch of us working on it. It just comes out of nowhere. Here it is. Now we've shoveled it off to none other than the Grand Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. And we're, another meeting we're gonna have to go to understand who's working on this and what it is. So when it comes time to defend what's there, what are we gonna hear? Oh, we didn't do that, they did it. That's really atrocious. You people just absolutely take the money and run. You really don't want to do anything on this committee. You don't want to read this stuff. You don't want to look into it. And I really object to it. I would take nothing, and have been on planning boards and others where I had nothing and spent way more hours than you do. But I also read a great deal of everything that went through. And I'd encourage you to do the best.
Thank you. Next commenter.
Carol Riley Makos. I too am a Lower Saucon taxpayer. And I'd just like to comment to you, sir.
Hey!
No,
to you, sir. I don't know your name. To you, sir.
Ma'am, can we just comments to the
That was an
up here
assault,
first, please?
an assault on me. Did you see that? She's not allowed to do that.
Anyway,
You don't say anything
continue
about
with
it,
your
do you?
comment,
Will you
please.
sit down, Mr. Gadouzian?
Can you finish
There
with
you
your
go.
comment,
See how it
please?
works? Good for the goose, but not for the gander.
Can you sit down, please?
I just
Sir.
made a charge that she attacked me. What happened?
Sir,
Nothing.
can you please sit down?
Well, why don't you do what you should
Sir,
do?
can you please sit down? Please sit down, sir. Or if you
Can I
exit
get
the
an
building, we're in the middle of a
acknowledgement
meeting.
from you that I was attacked?
Please
Can I get I asked the question.
exit the council meeting.
See
Exit the council meeting or sit down, please.
Folks? There you go. Can happen to you next.
Please sit down or leave.
No, I'm
Two
gonna
options.
do that after the meeting, after I hear what Mr. Gadouzian finally has to say.
You are being disruptive, and I need you to either sit down or leave.
And so is she, and I have my rights, and you don't uphold them. You don't.
I apologize for tapping on the shoulder.
Ms. Makos, can you just keep your comments towards us, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I apologize for tapping him on the shoulder, but I wanted to let him know that instead of him blaming this current council, he should look back at the previous council because, excuse me, I have the floor. This entire place was packed the day that this came up about the Eastern Road.
Ms. Makos, just keep going, please.
The entire place was packed when the Eastern Road thing came up. And the reason I know that is because I was here. Also, Mr. Bononis called for backup from the police because I think he got a little scared because they were trying to push a couple things under the carpet without letting the people that actually live there know what was happening. So, all of the people came here, everybody voted against it. He still said, yep, and chose to put it through for light manufacturing. So I am definitely in favor of it going to the board, and hopefully they will take all the things into consideration. I mean, being out there in the township where we are, we have endured 78. We have endured all of the warehouses across the street in Bethlehem, and I do not think that we should endure them in our own neighborhood. I think restaurant's a great idea. Gas station, I don't know. We got Wawa, we got all the new gas stations coming. I think we have like 8 gas stations in town. But it would be good for us to have a gas station, a little convenience store so we don't have to go to Giant or something like that. Restaurant would be fabulous. I think there's opportunities for other types of businesses other than warehouses to be in that area. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments?
Kevin Riley Rice. I also support the hybrid manufacturing district draft ordinance to go to the Planning Commission. I think it's about time that people get to hear about the changes that were made all these years ago and making adjustments that are appropriate for our community instead of trying to put up more 100,000 plus square foot warehouses that are empty. Another thing too is my only concern with gas stations is the storage tanks in the ground because everyone there has well water. We don't have public well water access. So anything that could affect our drinking water is pretty important to me. So I support this moving forward to the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. I would say that this thing has been going back and forth, sorry, the hybrid manufacturing district draft ordinance. It seems like this thing has been going back and forth for so long that it was changed when before this previous year, so before 2025, it was brought up, and then it was changed when the council changed. And it created a lot of havoc for the people that live over there when you try to change an ordinance, try to change the zoning and then change it back, which is never considered by the people on council currently. Light manufacturing, I mean, I don't know if that includes warehouses. I would think that it wouldn't, but I'm not an expert on it. They tried to bring other businesses in the area, and they tried to benefit some of the people that lived over there by allowing them to sell their properties, which was delayed due to the current council in 2025. And now it's going back and forth. And now you came here tonight ill-prepared to change this draft ordinance. And I appreciate you, Hunter, for asking questions. And again, I'm gonna suggest that if you're not comfortable with something, don't vote yes on anything. You're allowed to vote no. You're allowed to vote a different way than the rest of your party people on the council. Because you should have already had the edits done prior to this. And it didn't have to be done by the staff. I know the staff is overworked and maybe busy. My point is, you should have had your ideas already ready to put in the ordinance if you wanted to approve it and then send it to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. I appreciate that it's going to the commission and that is okay to approve something here that's not done yet, that what's going to be added, what's going to be edited, what's going to be deleted, we don't know because you're not telling us that. And now you're saying it's going to the Planning Commission so everybody feels warm and fuzzy inside and great because, well, we all trust the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, don't we? I don't. So it's funny to me that all of a sudden the Planning Commission comes to you, council, and says, hey, we have some ideas about something that we want to put over there. We want to build something over there. We don't know what it is, but obviously you probably do. And it's always been in the back of my head, why is there so much pushback against the landfill? Why? Why is everybody like rabid dogs when it comes to the landfill and the land over there? And what's going to be put there instead of the landfill? And what do they want the land for? And I have no doubt that the Planning Commission has an idea that they talked to you, Victoria, about, which you mentioned. They came to you, you had a meeting, and now all of a sudden you're pushing this draft forward without the edits, so you came ill-prepared to the meeting.
Wrap it up, please.
Again, you came ill-prepared to the meeting. What are you adding? What are you deleting? What are you editing that would be in benefit to the Planning Commission's ideas? What is that?
Can you wrap it up, please?
There's just no transparency. So regardless of what's coming down the line for public meetings, you should have had it prepared already. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to sign my name. Diane Hollowell.
Ms. Hollowell, can you just keep your comments to the council, please?
Diane Hollowell, taxpayer. First of all, thank you to whoever does the township website, like whoever here does it. It is extremely informative. So anybody who at home who is watching this meeting, please make sure you go on the website. There's a lot of information there. And thank you to the council for saving us taxpayer money. I see there's only one policeman here, and it is only, oh my God, it's not even 8 o'clock. Think of all the money we're saving not having 2 policemen with meetings till 2 in the morning. As far as the 3 minutes, yes, you did run on that. Unfortunately, it takes one person to screw it for everybody. And we all know who that one person is. I do have a question on Resolution 1, 2026, public comment and participation. Number 6 says comments about personal attacks. There was somebody who did speak tonight who called some of the council members clowns. would that be a situation where we would ask the police officer to escort him out, or do you stop him from talking? I guess that's my question. And thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
Good morning to those who work night shift. Mark Osmick, Lower Saucon, and yes, I paid my taxes already. On the 3-minute conversation bit, yes, you ran on what you ran on, everybody knows what it was, and then as time went by and due to public comment and irresponsible people who had to drag things out and make everybody look like a fool, it got changed over time. So you reneged on what you promised. Don't know if that's good or bad, but it don't make you look good. Doesn't make the township look good either. Oh, where's my notes? Where's my notes? My notes. Oh, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, is there any way you could send me or post information about the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission and the meeting times so that I could tune into this and watch what they're going to do with this situation? I would like to know that. What else? What else? And yes, Diane Hollowell was right. Pretty much took one person to ruin everything. But anyway, if you look back to the Bononis regime, at that time, there was a 3-minute time limit. There was also a 2-minute exterior time limit to ask for. It was never granted to anyone, me, because I asked for it, or anyone else. And Mr. Bononis never left you talk about anything. And if you did talk about it, he sat up there with his head in his phone and didn't pay attention. And just like the dump, and just like Easton Road, no matter what the public said, they rammed through what they wanted. I expect you guys to be different. I don't, just like I said about the police officers and the prison guard, I don't care what you want. If you would put me on council, my sole responsibility for the residents of this township was the residents. It wasn't for my own personal gain or what I want or don't want. I don't want the expansion of the dump across the street from my house. There's a beautiful horse farm across the street from my house, about 30 horses over there that don't need to live next to a landfill. There's kids in the neighborhood that play that don't need to live next to a landfill expansion. Ain't one of you people smiling up there. Ain't one of them. But you smirk, because I pay attention. And then I go home and I zoom in on the camera and I watch what happens. So hopefully everybody makes the right decision. You cooperate with the public. You don't hide things.
Can you wrap it up, please?
And I'm real interested in what's going on with the police department. But I'm going to try to do a right to know, and we're going to see what kind of answer I get out of you this time, because I got your last answer yet. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much. I don't see anybody else who hasn't already spoken. So I am going to move on to council reports. We'll start with Priscilla. Do you have a report?
Sure. On January 24th and January 31st, I attended a PSATS boot camp. On January 19th, attended a Lower Saucon Township Historic Committee meeting. On January 9th, I attended a Saucon Valley Conservancy meeting. On January 12th, I came here and had a wonderful night with honoring our volunteers. And again, I'd like to thank the township for putting this together. It was really nice, and I think the volunteers that who attended enjoyed it also. So that was a good thing. Looking forward to the next one. January 16th, I can't read my writing. Oh, I attended a Zoom call with the Minor Center January 16th, I also went to a Lower Saucon Township Historic Committee meeting. January 17th, Hellertown Lower Saucon Chamber. January 18th, had a 2-hour ride with the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission today to tour the township. That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gress?
I don't have much, I'll keep it quick. I was able to attend the volunteers celebration dinner, whatever it's
Whatever you
called,
call it.
with the township, but I think that was a good showing from the township to thank the volunteers for all the committees they're on and all the work they put in to help keep things going the way they are. And I think that's pretty much it. So thank you to our volunteers. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Gress. Ms. Ray?
All right, sure. January 29th, I attended, and so did Victoria. We went to Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. They had a special meeting regarding ordinances on land use, and specifically it was for data center ordinances. So we got a lot of good information and heard what others are doing in the Lehigh Valley with their regulations on that matter. So, and we are underway as well with our ordinance. On February 3rd, I probably attended my last Parks and Rec meeting. Chad is now our liaison to that board, but I'm very interested in keeping up with what those guys are doing. February 5th, we had our Fire Executive Committee meeting. They reported for January, they had 97 calls for the month. One of the things that we discussed was the presentation they did tonight on their new software program that they're using as part of a larger package that they have. They reported that they received a public safety grant that they're using towards upgrading their portable radios. So something that they much need. We also discussed some safety issues with gates in the township. So I guess we're looking into what can be done to make it safer in the gates. On, let's see, February 10th, we had our EAC meeting. Probably let Chad talk more about it, but we had a great presentation on road salt. So if you didn't get to see the meeting when we were doing it, I'd recommend tuning in. It was, you know, at the top of our meeting. It probably lasted about an hour though. It was very interesting on road salt and how it affects our water, and that never goes away. It never like clears up and gets better. On February 12th, as Hunter mentioned, we had a nice thank you dinner for our volunteers on our board. So I thank our staff for all the organizing for that, and they had a very pretty spring theme for us, so we could dream about spring coming. And on February 16th, Priscilla mentioned, we had a planning meeting for the historic committee for the work we're doing for the 250th anniversary. So that's what I've been up to since the last council meeting.
Thank you, Laura. Mr. Heimbecker?
I got a list.
Go right ahead.
Okay, since the last meeting, I'll try to do this chronologically. Along with Priscilla, I was at the PSATS boot camp on January 24th and the 31st. Topics included an overview of township government, purchasing, judicial powers, executive powers, human resources, Sunshine Act, right to know law, records retention, communications, ethics. The second session included emergency management, which was presented by Tanya Hook of Lehigh County Department of Public Safety, Public Works, overview from private contractor Pranoni, which works with PennDOT, as well as PennDOT was there with Kevin Firestone. Financing and budgeting with Neil Vaughn of Pocopson Township in Chester County, land use and planning with Aubrey Viller, zoning officer from North Whitehall Township. And that was very educational and informative. We brought back a couple topics that I feel we want to maybe investigate a little bit within the township, so you'll hear more from me on that. Okay, then the 26th was supposed to be a rail trail committee, but unfortunately we had a ton of snow, if you remember. So that was canceled. And I hope everybody survived, you know, the winter event of 2026. I think the township did a great job in dealing with that and keeping our roads clear, and which does bring us to the EAC meeting that we had on February 10th, where we did have a presentation, Jennifer Latsko of the Lehigh Valley Watershed Coalition and Paul Tucker of the Saucon Creek Watershed Association, talking about some of the harmful effects of road salt on our watershed, how it impacts aquatic life, macroinvertebrates and fish, as well as it gets into the groundwater, it gets into your wells and it gets into your homes and it erodes your pipes and it leaches chemicals into what you drink every day with your family. There are some best management practices that you can look at that are relatively low-cost solutions that I think that our township should consider, involving calibrating our salt spreaders, at least on an annual basis. It helps reduce the cost and the amount of salt used. There's also free LTAP courses provided by PennDOT for Public Works and Management. We can look at policies and review our current practices, documentation procedures, training, monitoring, which can help reduce salt potentially up to 70%. Another big option is to switch to a brining, which is a 23% solution, which you put down as a pre-treatment. It reduces the scatter of the salt that bounces off the roadway, sometimes up to 70 feet off the side of a lane. And it helps aids in plowing and reducing the labor and overtime. Another way is to improve our plows with a segmented plow. Instead of a single blade, it's a segmented blade that curves to the roadway surface that gives a wider and cleaner sweep. So there's some things that we've put here as notes from the presentation that, again, if you have an opportunity at home to check it out from the EAC, it's very informative, educational. I think we could look at some of these things maybe with Public Works that can, at relatively low cost, if any cost, help improve the environment and the watershed in our township. What else do I have? There was the Parks and Rec meeting that was on the 2nd. Sorry, I jumped around a little bit. What was this? This is the first time I've sat in at Parks and Rec as a member, as a liaison. And we go back to this is going to be published in the newsletter, but there was a survey sent out, right? The top resident priorities: a community center, indoor basketball, Polk Valley Park, improving it with bathrooms, lighting, more parking, paths, and stairs. And I know that from my kid playing soccer there, that going down that hill can be dangerous. Tree removal, field maintenance, rail trail, improving safety, the dog park. I know that there's a lot of complaints about the dog park not being able to be open consistently. Trail maintenance at Sandra Yerger. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration here in the township as far as Parks and Rec that we can look at. On February 12th, there was the EAC as well, going back to that, sorry. 2026 goals. Can I talk about those? What were the top goals that we've talked about? Reviewing the open space, recycling, reducing waste. We have the plastic single-use survey that's out there. I hope everybody at home logs in and checks that out, if we can bring that up maybe. Bee, butterfly, and bat houses. That would be a great initiative with the kids. And the water treatment and our stormwater management within the township, just making sure that we're doing that appropriately. Okay, so back again to the 12th. I went to a Lehigh Valley EAC network breakfast, which is a monthly meeting of various municipalities. This was represented by Allentown, Emmaus, Lower Macungie, Easton, Bethlehem, Monocacy Creek Watershed, South Whitehall, Little Lehigh Watershed, Lehigh Northampton County Environmental Council. Okay, we talked about data centers. That was the #1 topic for the whole hour and a half we were at breakfast. Some of the ideas that came up out of that I'm not sure if they're in our ordinance or not, but might be a good thing to consider. Automated lighting, requiring that so that they shut off and reducing their power consumption. Self-generating power supplies, including solar on roofs, okay? And as we've talked about in the EAC, making sure that if they take any water out of the ground, that what they put back has been properly tested and temperature checked so that it's not negatively impacting our groundwater. There's gonna be another breakfast coming up. We're trying to set those up as a rotating between all of the different municipalities. So there's a sign-up genius going around right now for all those different groups. And some other things that are coming up environmentally, tomorrow, February 19th, Palmer Township is hosting a winter sustainability movie night. They're hosting a movie called Chasing Ice. Little Lehigh Watershed Stewards has a stream cleanup happening March 21st and a tree planting event happening on April 11th. If you'd like any details on this, reach out to me. I'll let you know. Allentown EAC is having an upcoming panel titled What's in the Air, about the air quality in the Lehigh Valley. It's being hosted by the Allentown EAC and the League of Women Voters of Lehigh County. Lower Macungie Township shared information about an upcoming riparian buffer speaker event that's being hosted with Lower Macungie and Lehigh Valley or Lehigh County Conservation District on March 24th. And the Bethlehem City EAC has a program called Fostering Equitable Access to Transportation, working towards providing e-bikes to those that need them and advocating for street safety. So that's another one. Northampton County Community College Joint Earth Day on April 25th, 11 to 5. Nurture Nature Center having an event on their campus. Live music, vendors, activities for kids and adults, and a speaker series. That's all the stuff that's on the horizon in the next couple months. And let's see, the Saucon Valley Conservancy, working on Heritage Day. Looking forward to that. I bought my costume. I got my Hamilton costume coming.
Cool.
With my tri-point hat. So I will be out there. I'm
Does
not
Mark
throwing
know
away
that?
my shot.
Does Mark know that? Are you keeping it for a surprise?
No, it's mine. It's my costume.
He likes costumes.
It's mine.
I
I'm
know,
coming
but does
ready.
he know you're gonna
No,
pick it?
no, I'm not one of the official performers.
Oh, okay.
I'm an
All right.
officially unofficial performer. And I'm also working on trying to get Christmas City Spirits to come as a vendor for beverages. So just so you know, all the adults in the house, so that we don't have to just drink chocolate milk. And again, the volunteer night that we hosted here, or I didn't, but Stacy, Carol, the rest of the township administration and everybody, thank you. It was awesome. And supporting and encouraging the people in our community to come out and get engaged again. I'm speaking to everyone who's not in the room here. Come, talk, be involved in the process again, okay? You know, maybe you've been chased away. Maybe your wife kept you home because your blood pressure was too high. Maybe you didn't want to get involved because how toxic it's been, but we're in a new era, okay? It's 2026. So welcome to the township. Come out and share your opinions and your thoughts. We take them into consideration in everything we do. We're here for the community, not for myself. Lastly, again, if you're interested in Lehigh Valley Planning Commission meetings, you can check them out at lvpc.org. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heimbecker. For my report, many people have said we had the wonderful event with our volunteers on all the committees, but we also had staff members there, and I thought it was wonderful to have everybody talking with one another and collaborating with one another on what each other were doing and how they could work with one another. I do want to say thank you to Carol, who I think put everything together and had everything color coordinated with the flowers, with spring theme, so it was very, very nice. So I want to thank her and the staff for staying late and putting together all of the food that we had that evening. I also want to say during that meeting, I thank Mr. Hunter for reminding me that the Lower Saucon Fire Rescue is doing a ride-along program. So I do encourage residents to contact Lower Saucon. They have I think on their website, they have a link. You can sign up to do a ride-along, and then somebody from Lower Saucon Fire Rescue reaches out. I started that process, and it looks like you would get a ride along on a weekend when they are doing their staffing of their Lightsville fire station. So you get to do like a shift of 4 hours, and depending on if they get a phone call for an emergency, you can ride along. So I would encourage everybody to participate in that, and thank the fire company for working with the community on that, and thank you, Hunter, for reminding me about that. I also, we just had the Water Authority meeting yesterday. One of the things that we talked about was a multi-municipal agreement between Hellertown and Lower Saucon related to our water sources and sewer sources. So the staff is working hard on that behind the scenes, and it's very, very nice to see that some things that I think should have been in place for many years, we're doing a lot of cleanup with different things. So I appreciate that. I want to say, and also during that meeting, we learned that, and if anybody didn't know this, it's a thank you to our staff. When we have any kind of snow event or any kind of issue where we need our staff to come together and plow roads and do maintenance, the Water Authority employees work hand in hand with our Lower Saucon Township Public Works employees. And they both work to handle whatever issue it is, and they work collaboratively. So I want to thank both our Public Works Department and the Water Authority staff for helping us over the past month with the storms that we had and doing all of the overtime that was involved to make sure that everybody could get to where they needed to go on the holiday and on the weekend and on the workday. So I just think that that's a wonderful thing that we have. It's just another example of how everybody is working together and how we're moving forward in that respect. The last thing I wanted to share, as you heard, Lehigh Valley Planning Commission in January, we voted to approve an agreement to have them do a study of the township and helping us moving forward. And I really look at it as phase 2 in looking at trying to solve some of the overall concerns our community has. And one of those concerns that we've always had is, what are our revenue streams and what is our development going to look like in the future? And one of the reasons why I came to council was because I wanted to help develop our community for the future, for well beyond when I'm here and my colleagues are here, but a place that I knew that future generations would love to call their home and would enjoy the same things that we enjoy with open space and the community feel and everything that goes along with that. And so engaging Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, it's going to move along with the Minor Center project, but that's all this year, and so you're going to hear a lot of things. But what's going to be very exciting is we're going to have the first of perhaps more community engagement events. So we're going to get the flyer in a few days, but on March 16th, which is a Monday, we will be at Saucon Valley High School with all of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission experts that are involved in the project for the township, and they're going to have the zoning map out, and they want to collect public input from everybody about what they would like to see in the future. Smart development and development that is harmonious with the values that we have in the community. So I encourage everybody to please mark your calendars for March 16th. It's a Monday it's going to be from 7 to 9:30. You will hear from the planning experts, and also it's your opportunity to be a part of that planning and to help the township so that in the future we can have a diverse commercial development and along with our residential development so that we can move forward without the conflicts that we've had in the past related to landfill revenue or anything else. So I encourage everybody to come out for that. It will be a wonderful evening, and I think it'll be a jump start to what we will see this coming year with both the Minor Center and Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. That is my report. So when the flyer comes out, you will get that from our staff. It'll be sent out all over the place. Tell your friends, neighbors, anybody in the township who wants to help develop our future. That's my report. That's my event. So next we're going to go to staff reports. Acting Township Manager, Jay?
Thank you. Just so everyone's aware that the police department received their reaccreditation, so they have been, had their site visit and looked at policies and procedures, and everything aligns with what is required of a professional police department. The the zoning hearing board meets Monday, February 23rd. They will hear the two variants that were presented before council tonight, and the variance that was supposed to be held at the January meeting but was canceled because of that major snow, the Rosengrant property out on 378, which, as council recall, is a de minimis lot width, which is 4 feet shorter than what's allowed for the properties on 378. As mentioned multiple times tonight, there's an EAC survey, and if you get home, you have 44 minutes to complete the park survey relative to movies in the park. Again, remind everyone, I was hoping that the rep, Scott from the fire company mentioned this, but if there is another snow event, please clean out around your fire hydrant. As some members of council know, I serve as the emergency management coordinator in another municipality, and recently responded to a situation where the first apparatus on scene of a residential property waited. The fire services attacked the burning structure and waited as residents dug out a hydrant so that the rest of the responding apparatus had something to tie into. So if there's a hydrant near you, make sure you shovel it out. If your neighbor is not capable of doing it, don't be afraid to go over and do their property as well. I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Steve, you have something on the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to provide a brief report with regard to the status of the case at 48 CV 2023-6089, which is known as the Petrie v. Lower Saucon Township et al. Declaratory Judgment Action. Recently, at the end of January, there was a request from the landfill to essentially take the case up on appeal at this time. That appeal was heard by the court, or that petition was heard by the courts. Shortly thereafter, the court issued a determination denying the requested relief from the landfill. So therefore, it was not appealed at that point. I suspect it will be appealed sometime in the future, but at this point, it remains the court of common pleas. I just wanted to provide an update as to where we are with it.
And just so I understand, that is the request to appeal the decision by Judge Cassis reinstating the conservation easements.
Correct.
In the declaratory judgment case. Correct.
Just as a matter of background, as you may recall, the court had previously issued an order reinstating the easements, the conservation easements. The conservation easements are now reinstated. One of the earlier meetings that we had, council directed our office to file the appropriate documents with at the register, the recorder of deeds rather, which we have done. And then this was an attempt by the landfill to appeal that decision at this time, which was denied.
Okay. Thank you very much. Engineer? I have nothing further. Okay. All right, I'm going to move to adjourn. All in favor? Yes. All right.
Yes.
It is now 8:19. Thank you all.